Hello, OCG community, and welcome back to another episode of Overcoming Graduation with Brian Drury. Now, today is an important episode for people who are struggling with maintaining and developing their friendships now that they've graduated college. Now, many people, I know myself included, graduate college and start to get caught up in the rat race, caught up in the day-to-day routine, and you go to work, you do your workout, you come home, you cook, you eat, you watch a little bit of TV, and you go to bed. And then we quickly start to realize that the people that have been in our lives the whole time, whether they be friends from when we were growing up or in college, we're slowly losing touch with them. And especially if you've moved to a new place where you don't know anyone, you can start to feel disconnected from the world, from yourself. You can start to feel lonely and wondering why you're there. Maybe I should go back. I don't know if this was right. And it fills you up with this doubt. Very often as well, what comes with this is, why is no one calling and texting me? I think it's kind of insane that we live in an age where we have more potential to connect with people than ever before. You could literally be texting someone around the world at any given moment. You could be Skyping, you could be FaceTiming. We have more ability to connect with people than ever before, yet I think we still feel more disconnected than maybe any generation has. We feel lost, we feel confused, we feel absorbed by our technology to the point where we don't feel like we can connect with human beings. You can already see, even in my generation, which we grew up without cell phones and then we got them, in our middle school to high school years, you can already see people losing the ability to maintain eye contact, to hold a conversation, to sit there face to face with another human being and be engaged, because we are taught that we need to just constantly be connected. And so in that, we feel like we constantly need to be looking at our phones. And what inevitably happens is we're not connected to anyone at any time, including ourselves. We always are looking for something as another distraction, another input, something else to click into our brain so that we don't have to focus on what's going on. I'll tell you, part of that is because we're afraid to look at ourselves genuinely and honestly and say, how am I doing? Where am I at? Where do I need to improve? That is a very scary question to look at. It's a lot easier to look at somebody else and say, wow, they need to get their weight in order, or that person really needs to work on parenting. And that's coming from, like me, a 25-year-old who has no kids and no idea what I'm talking about when it comes to parenting. So what I really wanted to focus on with this podcast is, one, connecting, but two, connecting with the important friends and people in your life. Because inevitably you are going to hit tough times. You are going to be down. You're going to be down emotionally, mentally, physically. And I don't care who you are, it's going to happen. Especially if you're trying to do big things in this world. If you're trying to do big things, there are going to be less people around you that can relate. Less people that can connect to what you're doing. And therefore, less people that will support you. There will be more people to tell you that maybe that's not possible. Maybe that's not a good idea. Oh, look, you failed once. Well, there you go. That's all the proof you need. Now, your friends, your family, whoever it is that boosts you, that picks you up, Lisa Nichols calls them your rocket booster friends. The friends that you call when you need a reminder of your greatness, of how wonderful you are, and how awesome you are. And I don't care who it is listening right now. You are awesome. You are great. You are wonderful. You have all of that in you. Not everyone is going to be brave enough to admit it, to say it, because somebody else who's willing to tell you about your magic, your beauty, is a person who is confident, who is strong. If you're surrounded by people who are fearful, doubtful, they'll try to tear you down because they feel down on the inside. The idea of someone feeling motivated and excited and passionate around them, it challenges their reality. It challenges what they've come to accept as the way the world works. So for you to be happy scares them, because if you can be happy in these circumstances, why can't they? So rather than try and meet you in that excited place, they try to pull you back. But that's where your friends come in. That's where your rocket boosters come in. These are the people who you call and you say, listen, I'm down. I need a talk. And at the end, you inevitably feel better. Inevitably, they bring you back up. They make you laugh. They make you realize it's really not that big of a deal, whatever it is you're stressing about. So one, I'm going to tell you right now, so I've been out of college about 3 years, and if you're waiting for your friends to call you, this is on you guys. It's not on them. People get busy. People have shit in their lives. People have good and bad things that happen. Your friend might be needing a call from you right now and afraid to reach out. I know in extremely difficult emotional times in my life, I've been down on myself and been like, why is nobody calling me? And nobody loves me. Nobody cares. No, you start to just drill yourself down into this negativity. But you could be the one to pick up the phone. They always say the phone works both ways, right? You can pick up the phone and call. You can be the person that maintains contact. I'll say, if we're talking about, averages, if we're talking about most of the people out there, most people will lose touch with most of their friends. Most people will even lose touch with some of their best friends because they're not willing to pick up the damn phone, which we can do at any time. Guys, invest in a headset. You can do it while driving to work, driving home. Even a 5 or 10 minute check-in with your best friends will do amazing things for your mental state and for your overall well-being. So, one, don't wait for people to call you. Sometimes you got to be the one to step up to own your happiness. And in a part of owning your happiness is staying connected with the people you love. Now, yeah, you would hope they reach back out to you, but sometimes it's going to be on you. Now, another piece in that is to reach out frequently. Reach out every now and then. Maybe even just pick one person a week, which, trust me, is way more than most people will do. And reach out, connect, find a time, set a time, if that's what it's going to take, to talk for 30 minutes and find out what's up in their life. And in that conversation, don't just give them a recap of you and all the things you're doing. Find ways to talk about what they're doing, what excites them, what's new in their life. Because remember, conversations are always mutual. Now, I wanted to bring up a story that happened in my life where I was talking to my dad. It was when I was living out in Wisconsin. I was living by myself and feeling kind of lonely. And I was wishing that more of my friends would be reaching out to me. And my dad told me about what happened in his life once he graduated. And this is back before cell phones. This is before the internet and before all that other stuff. You had your landline at home, and that's how you called people and contacted, or snail mail, which to us seems archaic. But he's like, Brian, a lot of times in many of my friendships, I need to, it's not that the other person doesn't love you or doesn't want to hear from you. He just said, I needed to be the one to reach out. I needed to be the one that was connecting because that other person just didn't take the initiative to do so. Is that bad? Is that a fault of theirs? No, it's just a personality trait. Some people are very outgoing, very outspoken and want to connect, and others really are going to be the ones to wait for others to contact them. But he said, what ends up happening as you get older, unfortunately, is that many of these great friends that you had growing up, when you were in high school, you were together all the time, so you always talked. When you were in college, you were together all the time, so you always talked. What ends up happening is you get older and you drift apart, not for any particular reason, just due to your lives take you different ways, you move to different areas, and you lose touch for whatever reason. He said the unfortunate thing that happens is most people end up only reaching out and contacting when there's bad news. Someone passed away, someone lost their job, someone got divorced, and what the result of that is that anytime you're getting a call from someone you haven't heard from in a while may have a negative association. Now, what I think is a key and critical difference here is your best friends are supposed to be there for you in your times of need. So that is absolutely part of this. I had a friend who hasn't reached out to me in a long time call me 2 days ago because he was going through some tough stuff. And I got to talk to him, and we just have a great friend conversation, and I got to help him through that. And that made me feel great, and I was actually feeling pretty awful that day. So helping one of my friends is one of the things that makes me happiest. So I loved that he reached out. But what I'm trying to address with the bad news calls is, if you want to be connecting with your friends and you don't want there to be a negative association or fear when you call for them to be like, oh my God, is everything okay? Start to reach out more. Start to call about the good things. Start to call about the basic average days, the days that happen all the time, and just say, today was pretty generic, but I'm thinking about taking a trip, or I'm actually thinking about starting a new workout program. And then you can talk and build this enthusiasm from your friends. So the first challenge, start calling your friends again, guys. Start reaching out, because it's not on them, it's on you. If you want something in your life, it's going to be up to you to make the calls, to take the steps, to push and do things outside of the box to make it happen. And 2, don't always be the friend that calls with bad news, because your friendships should be building each other up. That doesn't mean they're always going to be good calls. You're going to need to call your friends at times and vent and cry and let it out and be supported. But be the friend who's calling for more reasons than just to report out on negativity. You can be spreading joy, happiness, and helping other people through their needs. Because oftentimes, guys, you may think that you need the call. Your friend may need it 10 times more. They may be going through the worst struggle in their life, and unless you reach out, you won't know it. So for your friends, for your family, for your loved ones, you have a responsibility to stay connected with them so that you can be there for them, they can be there for you, and it can be a mutually supportive relationship. So this is something that obviously you guys can hear I have a lot of passion around. I don't want you guys to feel disconnected. I don't want you to feel lost. I know it's something that I am working on a lot in my life. I'm constantly moving to new places. I'm constantly traveling with this job, and part of the challenge is creating lasting friendships or maintaining your friendships. So this is something that I need as much as, it was one of the lessons that I'm saying, but I need to be doing this too. Because meaningful, deep connections, like you could have one or two that are more important than 1,000 acquaintances. So if you have these special people in your life, don't let them go. You keep them in your life. You take the steps to make them stay. And you keep them in your life, and they will keep you in theirs. And then on the other hand, if you don't have these rocket booster friends, these people that support you and pick you up, you know what, man? It's time to go out and find them. And this is for me too. In my new area, it's finding new friends that build me up, that share my interests, that are going to support me, that are going to be there for me. I need this too. So this is part of overcoming graduation, guys, is taking the ownership. It's putting it on yourself, not in a pressure way, not in a way to say, damn it, you didn't make a friend today, but just to say, you know what, Brian? Let's try and find a friend. Let's try and meet some new people. Let's find a new group to connect with. Let's find a new venue to go try and see if I can meet someone there. So today, all I ask, guys, as this week goes on, I'm going to be challenging you to take steps. Call a friend. Call somebody. I don't care who it is. There are days where I've called 6, 7 people in a row and got nothing but voicemails, and then finally got someone. But I promise, sooner or later, the calls you make, you'll get someone back, you'll connect, and just laugh and joke and experience life together. So thank you guys for listening today. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. As always, you can find out more about my past episodes and upcoming events at overcominggraduation.com, as well as apply to the mailing list and newsletter. So you can also be reaching out to me at brian@overcominggraduation.com. If you have any questions, concerns, if you have someone that you think I should interview for the show that has a message that could help this audience, I would love to hear from you. So thank you guys for listening. Now, as soon as I'm done, I hope you pick up the phone and make a call, because you'll be amazed how much it'll help you and how much it'll help the person on the other end of the line. I love you guys, and have a great rest of your day.